We're moving fast here. I'm excited for this. Can you guys hear me okay? Those of you that are on? Yeah, thumbs up if you can. Awesome. Awesome. I'm gonna give it a few minutes. Got some stuff to handle here.
Hello.
Hello. I'm gonna keep you all muted. There we go. Oh, we already have 200 on. Holy moly. Hold on, I gotta make sure somebody's got a link, one of my children. Just gonna give it a few minutes. I'll get some stuff in order to show you. Are you guys excited? Holy moly, we have 200 on already. Woo! It's good stuff. Good stuff. Hold on. Leave it to the start group to not have the code. It's so funny. All right, over 200 now. I'm gonna give it one more minute and we'll get rocking. I'm gonna see who's on. Let's see if the people that said they wanted to step up into leadership are on this. I'm watching you.
The list.
Oh, I've got the list, don't you worry. I purposely got my expansion on my attendance so nobody could say they couldn't get on. So, it's exciting. I'm very excited to see everybody. All right, if you hop on and you're unmuted, please mute yourself. I'm continuing to mute you. Let's see. Oh, little voices.
Sorry.
All right, let me mute. All right. All right, one more minute. We're gonna get rocking. Holy cow, there's a lot of people on here. Can you guys hear me okay? Thumbs up if you can. Is it clear? Cool, I got a new microphone. I'm kind of excited about it. It's exciting. All right. So you guys, I'm really excited to see everybody. Over 200 so far. I'm sure that number is gonna keep going up. If you've got distractions around your house, totally okay. This is the beautiful part about all this is we can do this when we're in the middle of our lives. But if that's you and you notice, make sure you're muted. I think I've got everybody. I don't hear anything. So that's really great. I'm gonna do, oh, that was weird. I'm gonna do a little bit of housekeeping. So as you guys know, for those of you that tried to get on the David Wood call with me this morning, you know that was pretty crazy because they had messed up my Zoom, but we got it fixed. So I have a capacity of 500 people. So I wanna make sure that you guys are including your teams and anybody else that really needs to hear this message. Those that have said they want this, they need to be on this. And I know I gave you guys the dates, you know, all 14 dates, so you could put them in your calendar. This is go time, you guys. This is a huge push. I had to rearrange some stuff in my life in order to make this happen too. So it comes down to really how bad you want this. You know, a lot of you say you want it and then stuff comes up, excuses happen, and I'm just not, I'm sorry, I don't go for that. You know, this is all about a decision to, you know, change your life, and we'll get into what that looks like and why it's so important to stay, you know, dialed into that. I know I get asked a lot if these are going to be recorded. You know, I understand this time of night, especially for those on this coast, it's hard. It's dinner time. It's Little League games. It's life. I get that. However, that's why I told you to have a good conversation with your family, whether it be your kids, your spouse, to say, hey, Monday nights or, you know, the 2 Tuesday nights, this is a priority. This is going to help build our future. I know that I had to miss a few things in my early part of the build that I really didn't want to, but I knew it was for something much bigger. And my kids honestly needed to know how serious I was about this. If all of a sudden other things become a priority, I mean, really, how serious are you? I understand though, things do happen, things come up. So as far as recording goes, I'm obviously recording this right now. I will publish it for only 48 hours. So that gives people 2 days. You know, that's not unreasonable to fit an hour and a half into those 2 days. And if you don't, it's gone forever. It's gone forever. And, you know, that's what I really want you to understand is we're in urgency right now. This is a 90-day game plan for a reason. This isn't like, hey, let's watch all the videos, you know, back in December or out in December. You know, this is something that, you know, consistency is so important in how people look at you, the kind of credibility you have. So you need to be consistent with showing up. Again, I've got a list of leaders that say they want to step up, and I'm going to be looking for you on this call every week. You have to show up. And, you know, as far as utilizing other leaders to help train this, I will absolutely be doing that. And you won't even know that it's coming. Because this is the thing about this business is if everything is staged, planned, perfect, do you really think you're duplicatable or relatable? Do you think people are looking at you like I could do this too? Absolutely not. One of the reasons I know I'm super successful at this is because I am just like, okay, this is the real me. So I've already got a list of 3 people that I'm going to call out on this call. So this is a really good thing. This is a really good thing. And it won't be something like explaining the compensation plan up and down, backwards and forwards. No, it's going to be like, okay, if somebody asks you a question, how are you going to respond? Are you going to be like, is your posture going to be all whacked out? So I'm going to put you to the test here, and you will be training people and you will be helping people. And honestly, this is the best freaking way to learn is messy and, you know, just as you are. I promise you, I know you're probably like, okay, I'm getting off this freaking call right now. I get it. But I promise you, if me throwing you to our safe wolves here is the better option. I'd rather you be prepared or unprepared here than out in the real world when people are going to ask you questions. They've been watching you on Facebook, and then today's the day they're going to ask you, and you don't even know how to talk to them. Okay? So be aware, about 3 leaders a week are going to be called out to help. So are you guys excited about that? Yeah, no. This is what leadership is. This is what leadership is about. This is really, you know, how you stay real and raw and relatable and authentic and duplicatable and trustworthy and credible. Those are all really beautiful qualities of a leader. Would you guys agree? Nod your head if you agree. Okay, so that's how we're gonna roll with this thing. And I've thought and prayed long and hard about it. I could have, you know, had a whole agenda for the next 12 weeks and say, you're gonna train this and you're gonna train this. And what happens is that, because I've done that in the past, and yeah, it's okay. But that leader gets all worked up in their head over that little 15-minute segment that they throw everything else out the window. Honestly, I would rather you kind of just go with what you know. That's why it's really important that you take time and invest in learning things, being into isogenicsbusiness.com, you know, listening to these calls over and over in the 48-hour window if you can, especially if you got something out of it. The prep week video, I'm going to leave up indefinitely because it's amazing. It really, really is. It's probably the best call I've ever done. I think it was the most real, like, hey, I get this. This looks like a lot of fun, but it always isn't freaking fun. This is hard. You get your feelings hurt. People are jerks sometimes. Sometimes your upline sucks. Sorry if I'm your upline. If I suck sometimes, I totally do. I can be a real hard ass sometimes, and I get that, and I tell you things you don't want to hear. And you know what? This isn't for the people that don't like that. You just got to get used to it. I'd rather you hear it from me than somebody out there that is going to just be really mean about it. I'm telling you the things I'm telling you out of love. I'm telling you the things I'm telling you because I do see greatness in you guys, and I believe in you. And I wish you saw through my eyes what I see in you. Okay? So go all in with this, you know, embrace this. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be really uncomfortable. You know, about a month from now, you're going to be hating life. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's going to be a grind here. And, you know, the newness of it's going to wear off, and it's going to be hard. And, you know, really, realistically, only 20% of you are going to finish this thing. Those aren't great odds, are they? But that's realistic. Are you going to be in that 20%? All right, I'm seeing you all shaking your heads, and I'm going to have this recorded so I can see all your heads shaking. Awesome. I'm really, really excited. So again, you know, for your teams that can't be on, You can share the link all you want. After Wednesday night, it's not going to be available. So it's really, really, really important that we create this sense of urgency, that leaders go first, that you guys show up every week on time, ready to take things into action. If you saw the call with David Wood and I today, it was so good, and I posted it all over the place. So if you didn't get to watch it, please do. That one's going to be up indefinitely too. We talked about, a lot of people love plugging into personal development, because usually when we're plugging into personal development, it's in a little safe atmosphere, in our little ISA bubble, where we all drink the Kool-Aid. We all understand that we're all in this, and there's really hard moments. And then we get out into the world and we don't take any of that into action. And so this is really, really important. It's great that you guys are going to show up every Monday night, but what we talk about, and as you have accountability partners and all that, is so key, that you absolutely, don't hold back, and you don't stop going until you're personally developed, because you're never going to be completely there, personally developed. I'm still a freaking hot mess today, and that's totally okay. Totally okay, but I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work, and I make mistakes, and I look like a jerk sometimes. I look like an ass, and that's totally okay, because people are like, well, if that girl can do it, then I can too. So please don't be afraid of looking silly. Please don't be afraid of looking messy, but please get into action. Can we agree to that? Yeah, we're not just going to show up on the calls wearing our baseball hats and thinking we're cool, and then we close up the book and we don't do anything till you hop on the call next week. I don't like that, because honestly, if you guys aren't moving into action, then I'm completely failing you as a leader. And I know you don't want to let me down, right? Right? Awesome. So I know you're going to take massive action. Okay, you guys ready to get into this? We're in week 1, baby. And something that I learned at Celebration, how many of you guys were at the Eric Worre leadership event? Holy crap, that was so good. So good. And I've heard him before, but he was so dialed in for our event. And so one of the things I'm going to do, he talked about the 10 qualities of an amazing leader. Really, really important. And as I was looking at his list, I was like, nailed it, nailed it, nailed it, nailed it. And so honestly, I knew that I was walking the walk and talking the talk, because I have nailed every single thing on his list. Now, if you don't know what those are, I'm going to post them at some point, and you really have to look in the mirror and say, okay, I want to be a great leader. I do. I know all of you do. You're 240 of you are on this call right now, investing in yourself to grow yourself. And you're going to have to take an honest look in the mirror. And those of you that saw the video last week, I was really hard, really hard. You got to be honest with yourself and look in the mirror and say, okay, have I cast the vision? Have I really cast it in an authentic way, in a believable way? Do I pour belief into people? Do I have belief in myself? Do I have belief in the company, in the products, the owners, in network marketing, in my, everything? Do I keep things simple? I know I completely nail this one, because I am so uncomplicated. I don't go to work to complicate things. I keep the main thing, as Lynn Hagedorn says all the time. And I think some of you guys are going to work to complicate it. We're going to keep things simple. There's amazing trainings going on all over the place, and that's great. If it's helping you, awesome. I think it's awesome. But is it duplicatable? I want you to think every day when you do something in leadership, is this something anybody can do with any personality? Anybody. Really, really important to keep things simple. We have the tools and systems that Kathy Coover put her blood, sweat, and tears into to give us for free. Use the tools. Use the tools so any personality can use it. Not everybody's going to be this crazy person. And God, I can't even imagine a world filled with me. So you remember as a leader that you are talking to all the color codes. I know that most of us are familiar with the color codes. I'm a flame in red. And I know that I can't always talk to people like a red. And I have to be, duplicatable to a yellow and to a white and a blue. And so, I have to scale down my redness sometimes in order to help the masses. So, unless you want a team filled of just you, you don't, trust me. I couldn't handle a bunch of me. So make sure that you're keeping things simple, positive, hard work, focus. Be unreasonable with your goals. Be unreasonable with your commitment to this. Be unreasonable with your conviction that you are in this business to help and bless people. Like, you've got to be unreasonable. Promote yourself. one of the reasons I know that I'm successful is because I am the best thing about that big brown box. I know I am. I believe it with all that I am. Those products are life-changing, but so am I. And I carry myself knowing that. Do you? And we're going to work on that. These are all topics we're going to cover over the next 3 months. Is this awesome? Would you agree? Yeah? Then we're going to talk about strategy and immersion. So tonight is obviously vision. That was the first one, and it goes right along with our vision boards. I hope many of you guys did them. I saw many of them pop up. We did ours as a family. It was a great way, and it was so awesome. Even after we got done and my kids went off and worked and did whatever they were going to do, my daughter sent me a text message saying, you know what, I really enjoyed our time away from the phone together, talking about like where we saw ourselves, you know, and each one of us were different. If you haven't done them, I encourage you to do your vision board because you can't hit a target you can't see. All right. Before I started Isagenix, I never, ever would have put a goal out there in the universe. I never would have put anything on a vision board. Let me tell you, I thought that was cheesy. Not going to lie. I really, really did. Maybe you felt like that. But it was no wonder I was aiming at all sorts of crap and I couldn't hit anything because I didn't have a target. I did not have a target. And I'm telling you, you know, when push comes to shove and, you know, people start rubbing you the wrong way, or maybe people don't get what Kool-Aid you had, you know, you're going to have to look at your vision board every day, and hopefully it's tied to your why. And, you know, I've got mine sitting right there. I can look at it. Like every time I look up, it's right there. And I see why I'm doing this. And honestly, it's about you guys at this point. 2 years ago when I made my vision board, it looked really, really different. It was about places I wanted to be, goals I personally wanted to hit. My goals are about you guys now. So I encourage you to do your vision board. And, you know, you can't hit a target you can't see. The thing about like my first vision board is they had things on there that I thought there's no way that they're going to happen.
I'm busy.
She's busy. Cute. There was no, like, I remember putting on my first vision board, Millionaire 177. And I was like, whoa, that's a stretch. Holy cow, am I going to make that happen? And the good news is I nailed it 20 ahead of that. How cool is that? That's something I never would have had. I had President's Quest on it. Never thinking I would end up in Rome and Paris, but I did. You know, doing things with my body that I never thought possible. But had I not put that in front of me, I would have very easily let other things kind of get in the way of, you know, the vision that's floating up in the sky. So have it visible, have it in front of you, have it so your family sees it. So when they give you crap for being on this call, you can point to that and say, remember when we did this as a family, we talked about it? This is what this is about. But you have to stand in that, and you can't back down. You cannot back down. And, you know, one of the things that I did early on in Isagenix, it was my very first event. I'll never forget this. I was 5 weeks in. Many of you have heard the story. My entire world got ripped apart. And I literally walked in the door. I had mascara all over my face, crying, sobbing. Like, people were probably really worried about who this crazy girl was walking in. And I remember sitting there for 2 days, and my posture started to change. My beliefs started to change. And they used to do this at ICU where they would hand out blank checks. And I'll never forget that it was like, I knew, because I was unemployed, no child support at the time. The boyfriend had just walked out, and all of a sudden I had all these bills that I was responsible for, 2 kids to feed, single parent, scared out of my mind. And I remember looking at that check. What did I need just to survive every month? And I wrote it down, because I was only a crystal manager at that point. There was no way I was supporting a family on a crystal management pay. Okay. And I remember writing that down. I think it was like $6,000 a month to, you know, pay for the house, health insurance, because I had to pay for that out of pocket, you know, all the things those little things that add up really, really quick. I think it was $6,000. And I was scared to write that number because I thought that was really high. I'd be 5 weeks into Isagenix and put that goal out there. I also said at that same event, you know, something I never would have said out loud. Again, I did not put goals out there because I was afraid of failing. And what if everybody knew I was a failure? What if I was so bold and cocky and then didn't do it and they all thought I was a fraud? Like those were the crazy thoughts I had in my mind for 40 years. I never put anything out loud. Because if I didn't put it out loud, nobody knows, and only I know I suck at life. I mean, how awful is that? That's like being a prisoner to your own thoughts. So please don't do it. But at that event, I'll never forget it. Betsy Frame sat down next to me. I didn't know who she was at the time. And, day 2 of the event, I looked at her and I was scribbling in my notebook, and she goes, "When are you going to be a director?" I said, "Next week. I'm going to be a director next week." And I was only a crystal manager. And I said, "And you know what else? I am totally going to be an Isogenics millionaire by the time my son gets into college." And she looked at me, I was 5 weeks into Isogenics. I was just walked out on, okay? And I'm saying things like this. And she goes, "I have no doubt that you will." And so I tucked that check that I wrote to myself of $6,000 into my little binder. And when I got home, I put it up on my computer, along with a picture of my kids. Because even though my world had been shattered, I had 2 very important reasons to keep going. And those were my vision in the beginning. And sure enough, I hit that crystal director the next week. And that $6,000 check by 4 months in, I had hit that as well. But I had to be bold with that statement. I had to be bold with it and then act as if I was already there. Like, I started carrying myself like I was a leader making that kind of money. And, that millionaire statement, I hit a year ahead of schedule. But even when I said I was going to be a millionaire, I literally led like I knew what the heck I was doing, like a millionaire does. Like, I earned $500 an hour, that I was going to make every hour that I would have gotten paid $500 an hour, because that's what millionaires make, that I was going to make every single hour productive and worth it. I acted as if. That's the thing with these vision boards. They're really pretty, and some of us are more crafty than others. But if you're not believing in what you're putting on that thing, do you think it's ever going to happen? Do you think you ever do the work? Do you think if you don't put in the work that it's going to happen? No. The beautiful Angelique.
Luscious raspberry sauce and Belgian chocolate.
The beautiful Angelique Nori, she did a Facebook Live a few weeks ago, and I'm good friends with her, so we talk about this stuff a lot. A lot of people pray and wish and dream and do vision boards, and then their actions don't back anything up. Faith without works is dead. It really, really is. And, if you believe God is going to answer your prayers, he's waiting for you to move first. He's waiting to see if, okay, let's put your money where your mouth is here. This is where the rubber meets the road. I want everything on my vision board to come true, and I look at it every day, and I know it's going to take a lot of freaking work. It's going to take a lot of work. So as you look at your vision board, know it's going to take a lot of work. Make the decision to be unstoppable. Be willing to take the arrows when people make fun of you. Be willing to take the arrows from people that are friends and family, because they're going to happen. And it's okay. How strong are you in your vision? I mean, the company vision to free people from physical and financial pain, and in the process build the largest health and wellness company, is something I am so passionate about. Because those are nothing that is about me. None of those things are about me. I want to free people. So Tracy's agenda is out of it. Yes, I have my vision, I have my goal, but the only way to get that is to help people, to serve people, to love people, to care about people. And if you guys read The Carpenter that I told you about, and those of you that I've told about it years ago, I think it's 2 years ago now that I first talked about those books. I reread it again this week. And it hit me again, like, wow, this is really what it's all about. If we are coming from a place of love and service and truly caring about every aspect of your business, not just the enrolling part, not just the stepping on stage with the big check part, but if you care about every aspect of building this business to the unsexy stuff where nobody is watching, it is going to ooze out of every pore of your body. And that is what people are drawn to. We'll tap into that a little bit. Okay, so did you guys work on your why in the 90-day game plan book? I hope so. And if you guys were on the call last week, or if you've watched it since then, I understand. I get people that come to me and say, well, my why doesn't make me cry. Well, your why should be something that if somebody was holding a gun to your head and they said, either you're going to do this work or you're going to lose that, that's pretty powerful, I would say. I know it's a little dramatic, but many of you have some really powerful whys. I've heard many of your whys. Yet the first negative comment you get, the first pushback you get from somebody that you love, the first thing that interrupts how serious you are about this, all of a sudden that why goes out the window. And it makes me so sad, because your whys are super important. And, you know, when I talked about putting a picture of your why, if it's your kids, if it's whatever, if it's, you know, I talked to a beautiful woman this morning. Her why is to retire her mother, who's been on her feet as a hairdresser for 40 years. 40 years, and she doesn't want her mom to go to her grave doing hair. Even though she loves it, she's tired. She's tired. You know, whatever your why is, like, repeat it over and over in your head. If you write, which I highly recommend in the morning, in your gratitude journal, like, start your day with gratitude. And the first thing on there, my why. What is your why? What is your why? What is your why? Because I guarantee you, the day is going to come and smack you upside the head. And at least if you started your day remembering why you're doing this, you got a better shot at staying focused. Would you agree? Yeah? Awesome. What drives you with what you do? I mean, if somebody was holding a gun to my head, you know, and it was either me or my kids, I'd take the bullet. You know, they're why I do everything. You know, and you really need to tap into what drives you. Why do you do the things you do? Why do you love the people you love? Maybe why should you not? I don't know. You know, whatever that looks like for you, I can't tell you what your why is, but you know what makes your heart race if something that you love is being affected, right? We can all relate to that feeling. We all have something we love. It could be your dog. I mean, I get that. My dog, if somebody was trying to hurt my dog, you know, some punches would be thrown over my dog. So I get that. You know, but you have to have that burning desire that that's what drives you. It's what gets you up in the morning. I mean, many of you guys are more excited, or you go through the motions to go to your job every day that you hate, which is totally okay. I get it. You got to do what you got to do. I've done that for many, many years. Yet when it comes time to doing this work that's really going to change the outcome of your family life, you take a back pedal. Because what? You're not punching a clock? Because you don't have a boss telling you, you know what, it's go time? You know, we talked about the entrepreneur versus employee mindset. And I know a lot of us had employee mindsets. I never have. That's why it was like a very slow, painful death for me when I was in corporate America, because it was not for me. Many of you enjoy punching a clock and then leaving it behind. And I get that. It's easier at times, but you always sacrifice time for money in order to do that. And I know the reason that we want this so badly is because we don't want to keep trading time for money. You know, it isn't necessarily about things I can buy. It is that time with my family. You know, my why started 6 months before Isogenics even dropped into my lap. It was when I got the call about my dad being diagnosed with cancer. And literally 12 days later, he was dead. And I remember sitting on that airplane crying because I had to take time off of work. I was working on commission. I was a single parent, I'm still a single parent. I was taking a pay cut in order to go grieve for my dad. They were calling me, asking me when I was coming back because I was really freaking good at my job. And I remember sitting on the airplane saying, I never want to be in this position again. I never want to be in this position again. I didn't know what vehicle was going to free me from that, but it wasn't going to be what I was doing. And little did I know, a few months later, I'd hit rock bottom, resign from my job, end up in rehab, all those things. And then 6 months later, Isogenics is in my lap. And there was that answered prayer. But then it was time to put the work in. Okay, you guys feeling me on that? Yeah, I hope so. This is really, really important. How are you going to stay connected to your why? What is a good way to remind yourself why you're doing this? I know we throw the why around, and I'm kind of over it being called that. I like the word passion. What is it that like makes you so passionate inside that you would take a bullet for? Like, really, what is that? That's your why. That is your why. If it's time freedom, I would take a bullet for time freedom, because there's no way, if I ever had to go back into the corporate world, I would pity the people that I would have to work with, because I would be miserable. I would be miserable. And how will you help your teammates stay connected to theirs? There's a reason why I work so hard on getting to know you guys. It isn't because I want you to love me. It's because I really want to know when you kind of disappear and isolate, and all of a sudden, so-and-so says they want this, and the next thing you know, I haven't heard from them, seen them. I want to know what makes you tick. I want to know why you're doing this. I want to know, maybe to know why things are not going the way that you want them to. So it's really important that as you start to grow, leaders take time to care about their people, and not just the ones they personally enrolled. If anybody is in your tree, they are your people. Anybody that shows up in your tree are your people. You have chosen to be one of the top 2%. You all said you wanted to be 2%ers last week, and 2%ers love on everybody. So anybody that is in your tree counts. And honestly, for me, anybody that is in Isogenics counts, because I love all across the board. I don't care if they're financially connected to me or not. I love everyone, but I match energy for energy. I've got some people cross-line that aren't doing the work either, and they don't get as much of my time. So you have to really keep engaged with your team, and you know what? They're looking to you. So you can't expect them to stay connected to their why if you're not. They're going to do what you do, not what you say to do. That's why a lot of our team, they know I'm watching, and they know, oh shit, she's doing the work. They can't call me out on that. They know that I'm connected to my why every single day. And so I do expect that from them. I do expect that from you. You say you want to be in the 2%. That's what it takes. That's what 2%ers do. You can hashtag that. That's what 2%ers do, okay? Your heart for doing this isn't what's stopping you. Some of you may think that you're too sensitive. It's not your heart that is stopping you. You want to know what's stopping you? It is the fear that is in your heart. You're afraid of getting your heart broken. You're afraid of, matters of the heart. And trust me when I tell you this, that was my biggest fear of all. It's why I shut the walls up. It's why I was a bitch most of the time. It is why nobody could get this close to me. Like, I would keep people at arm's length. It doesn't work. The fear that was in my heart destroyed my life, because I was making decisions based on that fear and instead of the love. Love trumps fear every single time. Every single time. So if you're feeling fear, and most of you are, I really don't anymore. I don't really at all. I'm being completely honest with you. I fear nothing. Not even something happening to my kids, believe it or not. I know that that's a part of a plan much bigger. I know it sounds really weird to say, but it's the truth. I fear nothing, because I extinguish it all with love in everything I do, whether it's talking to somebody on the street, at the grocery store, petting my dog, loving on my children. Everything is out of love. Even when I'm throwing tough love down on you, it's still love. And I don't fear that you're mad at me for it, because I know where it's coming from, and love trumps fear every time. So it isn't, your heart. You guys, you're all in. I know. I saw your hats with your hashtags. I saw you're all in. Your heart's all in. But don't let that fear become a cancer in your heart, because it'll destroy everything that you are wanting to do. Can we agree that fear is just out? You can hashtag that. Love trumps fear all the time, because it does. It does. Even when people are being salty with me, and they do, I trump it with love every time. If I hear rumors that are being said about me, and they do, trust me, the better you get at this, the more people talk crap about you. Get used to it. It's worth it. You trump it with love. You don't even argue with it. You can't argue stupid. You can't. You just trump it with love. It's like, there's my love card. Nice try. All in, baby. You just throw your gang signs, your love gang signs down. All right? So don't let the fear take it away from you. I promise you. And, with everything you do, and for those of you that weren't on last week, the book I was talking about was this one. Please, please, please get it. It's the fastest read ever. I don't like to get, I have a little ADD when it comes to reading. That book I can fly through in 2 hours. Get it on audio. It's a great listening thing. My kids are reading. I know Joey read it. I don't know if Casey's read it yet, but really, really good. And if you operate from a place of love, that means loving everybody, even the not so nice ones. Service, not just to get them enrolled, but for the long haul. And if you care about, like I said, every aspect of this business, even the parts where people aren't watching you, even the parts that don't necessarily make you an income, you have to care about every aspect of every moving part of this amazing network marketing business. When you care about every aspect of it, and I really, really do, I care about every single person, And it oozes out of my soul. And when you care about everything you do in every aspect of your life, that translates into your posture. And people that don't even know who you are or what you do are drawn to you. It's the God's honest truth. It's why I walk in anywhere that people are like, who are you and what do you do? Because your energy is just so out of this world. And I'm not saying that to toot my horn. I'm really not. But it is just the posture I carry myself with, because I care about every moment I have on this earth. Every moment. And it exudes from me. Like I could be dead tomorrow. You know, losing my dad in a matter of 12 days to, you know, I know that some people tragically lose a parent or a loved one and you have no time to process it. I mean, that even more. I mean, to have 12 days to process, I'm going to lose my dad. Holy crap, I didn't have this conversation. I didn't have this conversation. I didn't have this conversation. And now he can't speak. And I'm never going to get that conversation back. Like, that is life. Life is too short, smacking you upside the face. So you need to care about every moment you have. You don't waste a minute, because we could be gone tomorrow. The people you love could be gone tomorrow. And I guarantee nobody ever regrets things that they did on their deathbed. They regret the things they didn't do. They always do. So go all in. Care about every aspect of every minute of your life like it's your last, and people will be drawn to you. Are you guys all right? I know this is heavy stuff. The why is always really, really deep. I promise we'll get to some fun stuff. Yes, love the crap out of people. Like I said, when you're feeling fear, you love people. When you are going through hard times, you love people. And, you know, back when I started Isogenics, you know, you heard what was going on in my life. That was pretty devastating. The old Tracy would have isolated, thrown her head in the sand, not talked to anybody. You know, thankfully I had children to feed and bathe and take care of. Otherwise, who knows what would have happened at the time. But because I knew that thinking, that isolating, that self-loathing behavior got me nowhere, I knew that in order to push through those hard things, the best way to do that was to be of service to others, to pour love and greatness into people, even when I wasn't feeling like that about myself. And you know, I talked about this last week, and I'm going to say it over and over again because it's that important. You know, usually when crisis hits, it's when we go hide out. It's when we fall off the face of the earth. It's when all of a sudden so-and-so said they wanted to crush this business, and where are they? That is more of a time to pour love and greatness into people. It is how I built this business in the beginning, because it was the hardest time of my life when I started Isogenics. I had every reason to quit. I had just lost my home. I had resigned from my job. I had no money. I was walked out on. I had nothing but 2 beautiful kids, and that was enough. And that was enough. And I knew in order to be the best me for them, I needed to pour love into people and be of service. So if you're going through stuff, or if you hit a hard patch on this, that is when you kick yourself in the ass and you get in your Facebook groups and you start loving the crap out of people. You go out into the neighborhoods and you go to the grocery store and you smile at every freaking person that you see, even the salty ones. You smile at everybody, because what that does is that helps other people, but more importantly, that helps you. It helps you, and it will take you out of the equation. You can't be in your own head if you're pouring love into people. You just can't. They just don't go together. And so, especially if you're hitting a hard time, I promise you that is the best way. And you know, it's funny. I got a text message from an amazing friend and cross-line leader in Isogenics last night, and she asked me the question because she'd had a bunch of her team watch last week's call. And I know many of you might even be thinking this, well, this is really easy for Tracy to say. She's making that money now. She's living a good life now. Did you always make it about being of service to others, even when you didn't even know how you were going to put a roof over your head, even when you didn't know what was going to happen next week? And that absolute 100% answer is absolutely. In fact, there's 1 or 2 people on this call that were some of my very first enrollees. And they had no idea what was going on in my life. And they never felt like a number. And they never felt like, you know, this was about me rank advancing or me getting an enrollment or a PIB. Even when I was scared and broke and terrified, this was never about me. I knew that if I did good, I would do good. And when you do good, that means you take ego and yourself and your goals out of the equation. Yes, it's important to have those, but the best and fastest, most effective way to get them is to pour yourself into other people. Does that make sense? So yeah, I mean, even when it was scary, and even when I didn't have anybody in my life, and even when all my friends weren't there anymore, and even when nobody knew who I was, and even when my kids were looking at me like, really, Mom, what are we gonna do? I poured love into people. Like my life depended on it, because it did, and it wasn't about me. Can we agree to do that? You will notice a massive shift in not only your organization, but the people you will start to attract in your life. Because if you are coming at this from a me kind of perspective, if you're persistent enough, absolutely, you're going to enroll people, no question. But wouldn't you want to attract people that will just love people and serve people and care about them, and a lot less of them are needed in order to build a legacy? Would you rather not burn through your list of 200 people to get 2 because you're all about you? I haven't even touched my list of 100 people, to be honest with you. I haven't even touched it yet, because I'm exuding love and care and service all the time. They're starting to come to me. It's a lot easier now than it was in the beginning, because I had to build up credibility and trust. I had to do the do, whether anybody was showing up or not. A lot of you are quitting because nobody's showing up, but they're waiting to see if you're going to be in this for the long haul. Okay? All right. And also, if you're not building this with love, honestly, it's going to be so not satisfying. You're going to get frustrated with people. You're going to have resentment, and you're going to burn out. You really, really are. So wouldn't it be better to build this with love? And honestly, I know many of you, I've seen you. You're talking a good game. Yes, this is not about me. This is about serving other. And then your posture is something totally different. Your posture does not lie. Your energy does not lie. You can talk yourself a good game, but people can feel it. People can feel it. I mean it. When you say, like when I said in the beginning, I was not about me, I really wasn't. And there was nothing about me that made anybody feel that it was about me, even when I was scared. Even when I was scared. So don't think you're fooling anybody, but saying, I just want to be of service to you. And, you know, behind the scenes, you're like, God dang it, why didn't they enroll with the president's back? You know, if you're doing that, I guarantee you there is some part of your posture that is telling people this is about you. Okay, so I just want you to keep that in mind. All right, so we talked about the fear. The fear is draining. The love will sustain your business. It really, really will, even when it's hard, And if you are not, or have not, or are not currently in the healthy mind and body, you need to be in it. Leaders do that. And they don't just do it once. They do it twice and over and over and over. You know, we want our people that join us in this journey. I mean, this is like I talked about last week, health and wellness is a really emotional thing for people. And a lot of us, you know, depending if it's weight loss or, you know, coming out of a horribly broken relationship. I mean, I had all kinds of insecurities going on when I started, and I needed to recreate this identity that I was replaying in my head. And I still needed to check myself at times, because we're going to slip into old patterns and habits, especially if you've got a few decades under your belt. You know, you're going to go to what you knew because it's comfortable, because it's what you do know. So that healthy mind and body is crucial, not just for your people, but for you. Because I know many of you will slip back into old habits and patterns. I've watched you disappear. I've watched you get angry over silly stuff. I've watched you take things personally that shouldn't. I've watched you make this about you. So get in the healthy mind and body like today. And if you're currently in it, finish it. Finish it. Do what you say you're going to do. And if you've done it already, do it again. Okay? You can't be asking people to do something you're unwilling to do. That one's hard. That's like me saying, go enroll people, but I'm not enrolling. Oh, no. I'm enrolling people. You bet your butt I'm enrolling people. 80% of my time is spent telling the isogenic story. We'll get into that in a minute. Okay, so in page 27 and 28, I'm going to share my screen of your little 90-day game plan thingy. Let me make sure I got it ready for you. See, I'm one of those people that have like 8,000 different windows open. Not very good at that. All right, I don't have it up, so Hold on. Yep, I don't have it up, but this is what it looks like. This one, the Who Do You Know page. You guys got it? Who do you know? And, you know, at my first event, it was Lynn Hagedorn and Susan Sly that were the trainers. It was amazing. And I will never forget Lynn Hagedorn saying it all over the place. Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know that needs more energy? Who do you know that would like to lose a few pounds? Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? And I was like, oh my goodness, who the heck do I know? Like, I remember walking around, you know, I'm an introvert and I don't really want to talk to people, but I was like, okay, well, I want to know that person. I guess I want to know that person. That person looks like they could use more energy, you know? And so this list is a really good hit list. And, you know, a lot of you, I've heard you say, I don't know anybody. You know, Lynn Hagedorn also was living in a town of 7,000 people where there were more cows than people in her town. And she was able to build this. I guarantee, especially with Facebook, this has made it a lot easier. We can go into, and I've got a list, you know, activities that you like, interests that you like. My daughter, I am so freaking proud of her. And Casey, I know you're on here somewhere. I can't see. We got 10 pages of people, but I'm giving my daughter, who's 19, who thought she could never do this, a huge freaking shout out. She is part of a beauty and makeup group because she's a professional makeup artist. And she's like, you know what, this pages, they're always talking about, you know, being positive. And so she has like a 2-week before and after picture. And it wasn't about, hey, look at me. It was like, you know, for a while there, I wasn't, you know, this page is so inspiring and talking about, you know, feeling good about ourselves and being comfortable in our own skin. And she goes, and the reality was I wasn't. And I was starting to act out in my life in ways that weren't good for me because I didn't feel good about myself. And I'm so grateful that I made the decision to turn some things around. And, you know, she didn't say, message me for more information or anything like that, but she just showed who she was, who her heart was, that she was all about people being comfortable in their own skin, but if they weren't, she could relate. And she didn't even have any prompting from me, but she was in that group spreading love and light all over the place. It was so beautiful. So beautiful. And why are we afraid to do that? I don't know. You know, find a group of something that interests you. For her, it's beauty and makeup. That's her thing. For me, it might be horses or, you know, doing like rugged maniac races or just being crazy. I don't know. Pick hobbies and stuff you like. There's a Facebook group for everything. And then just start being active in there. You don't go and blast what you do in there because you'll get kicked out right away. You know, because when she told me she posted in there, I got a little nervous, to be honest with you. I was like, oh, God, I hope she did it right. You know, and she showed me her pose and like, you nailed it. Like, you do that better than most people I try to train to do that. So, you know, make sure that you are in the business of building relationships. You can't expect to do a Facebook post and all of a sudden have 20 people waiting in line to enroll. You know, this is a relationship business, and you have to take the time to get to know people. You know, the average person, it takes about 12 contacts with them before they even consider enrolling. Somebody like Susan Sly took 20. George Ruiz, 40. You know, I had hit rock bottom. I was like, give me the box and go away. You know, I was one of those people. But you need to understand that this relationship building takes time. Facebook is a great tool, but so many people are expecting, like I said on stage at Celebration, you're expecting a gourmet meal out of the microwave. It does not happen that way. You know, the best meals take a long time to cook. And I'm telling you right now, the best people that will show up as a result of your social media stuff, it's going to take a while. So, you know, I want you to go through your friends list. You know, many of you guys are friends with Isogenics people. And I know we love each other and all that. Like, seriously, I get that. And it's hard because most of our friends and family end up in our business, and that's okay. You're not going to go around deleting your close friends and family that were there before Isogenics. However, a lot of you guys have to build this in the pockets of your life, and you are spending an excessive amount of time commenting, liking, etc. on each other's things. That's not an income-producing activity. That is wasting your time. That is stuffing your why down the toilet. That is making that vision board not going to happen. I know that sounds really harsh. And, you know, the woman I was talking to today who wanted to retire her mom, I said, how many Facebook friends are on your list that are in Isogenics? And she's like, oh, she goes, about 1,000 or so. I said, pick 20 you love and ditch the rest. This is not a popularity contest. If I don't accept your friend request, it is nothing personal. I love y'all, but I don't want to get sucked into the dark hole of Facebook, and neither do you. You guys have families. You have time. This is a tool. It's not fun and games. Okay, so keep 20 and dump the rest. And if they get offended, so what? You don't have time for that. You can pick up the phone and actually call people. We can do that these days. You know, and if there's a leader that you're learning from, like I had like pseudo mentors in Emily Vavra and Kelly Dickerhoof when I started. They didn't even know who I was, but I was following them, learning from them. Those were two people that was really good for me to follow because I was learning from them. Okay, use it as research, but don't get sucked into the dark hole of Facebook. I'm telling you, keep 20, get rid of the rest. Get rid of the rest. It's distracting. And what happens is because isogenics people tend to post a lot, that's all that's going to show up in your news feed. It really is. And the next thing you know, 2 hours has passed, and 2 hours is all you've dedicated to your day to work on your isogenics business, and you just pissed it away on Facebook. Is that connecting to your why? I know it's harsh, but it's just not. It's not. And if you hurt people's feelings, then they don't understand your vision clearly enough. I know if people are offended by me because I don't accept their friend request, then honestly, I don't get it. And I'm okay with that. You need to be okay with people being upset with you. Can we agree to that? Facebook is a tool, not a time sucker, unless you give it that power. So stop giving it that power. So what I do is I go through my friends list pretty much every week, and I make a list of a few people. I try to do 3 to 5 people a day. You know, just go into their profile and comment on a picture if it's something that I can authentically comment on. I'm not just going to make crap up just to sound good. Like, I genuinely look at their pictures of their kids and look how cute they are. There's a girl that had the cutest picture of her dog today covered in mud. It was the cutest freaking picture ever. You know, people like, and of course they're not in isogenics yet. And what that does is that makes them pay a little more attention to me, which is what I want. Again, I want them binge watching me, not Game of Thrones. You know, people are binge watching Netflix because they're bored with their life. People spend 4.7 hours a day on social media. If they're going to binge watch something, I sure as heck want them binge watching me. So I'm making sure I'm showing up in their newsfeed by commenting on their stuff authentically, genuinely. I'm not just making stuff up. Like, if I'm not feeling it, if they're negative, I really don't want them in my business anyway. And usually I'll just unfriend them if they're super duper negative. Okay? Be okay with doing that. Because honestly, you don't want that in your business. Sometimes I'll keep them to see if they can turn it around, or if there's an opportunity where I can maybe bless them somehow. Some people just don't want to be blessed. They're happy being miserable. And that's okay too. We can't save them all. And it's okay. All right, I got a few more tips for you. So, Facebook groups for activities, hobbies, your high school alumni. This was a scary one for me because I left Downers Grove, Illinois for a reason. I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back to high school. However, as I was growing in this journey, I'm like, oh crap, here we go. And I started friending them all. All right, Mustangs, let's see what we got. And to this day, most of our Mustang alumni back in Downers Grove, Illinois are part of Isogenics now, because I was willing to do that. Because after 25 years of graduation, they're looking at you like, whoa, you look better now than you did in high school. Wow, something you're doing is right. And you know what, if you didn't even like, there's some people that I friended that I didn't like in high school, but you know what, they probably didn't like me either. And you know what, we're all grown-ups now. We're not in high school anymore. We can all play nice in the sandbox, and who knows, they may need you so badly. And you may need them. You may need a new friend. You may be able to rehash some stuff and let some stuff go maybe that you've been carrying for decades. You know, so start friending your alumni. That one's fun. If you're a team mom, I was like the team mom for football and baseball. So I've got all these little pockets of different moms that have been watching me. And, you know, pretty much every baseball mom I've ever been in contact with is now in Isogenics because they've been watching me. They saw me during my worst, and now they're seeing me at my best. And they're like, wow, I love what you're doing with yourself. What are you doing? You know, start friending these people on Facebook. You can friend them immediately. If you meet somebody in a store or a restaurant or anywhere, you know, the first question I ask is, hey, are you on Facebook? Especially when they're like, who are you and what do you do? Like, you're so nice. You're so full of love and light. Do you work? all those questions. I'm like, oh my goodness, are you on Facebook? They're like, yeah. I'm like, cool, find yourself right now. And they're like, whoa, that's crazy. And they find themselves. I'm like, cool, I'm going to add you right now. And then they start watching what I'm doing. And they're like, wow, that was just the girl at the deli counter. And now she's like really awesome. And they start looking for your post because you're inspiring them in whatever way that looks like. And, when you're reaching outside of your network, and let's take this off social media for a while, because I think sometimes a lot of us are just using social media only, and we're doing our few posts a day. And then we go through our lives with our heads down, the introvert, like, don't make eye contact with anybody. Let's put headphones in so nobody talks to us. I used to be that person all the time. And that isn't congruent to who you're showing up as on Facebook. If you're showing up on Facebook, like, oh, I love what I do. This is so great. I love being with people. And then you go out into the world and you're like, do you really think that your posture is so not okay? So when you're reaching out, outside your network, outside of people that you're meeting. So, you're going through your list of 100, you're making your list, and anybody that you have given 30 minutes of your time to for a service, like your financial planner, your accountant, your hairdresser, your nail person, any person that you pay for services, you should have a conversation with them. They owe you at least 20 minutes. Would you agree? I've made lots of them lots of money. They can hear me for 15 minutes. And quite honestly, I've enrolled almost all of them. Because they're like, what are you doing here on a Tuesday at 1? Don't you work? Nope. I work hard, but it's when I want to. So anybody that you've paid money to for a service, don't be afraid to talk to them. They work on referrals, most of them. Most of them, their lives and their mortgage is paid by referrals. You are no different. So don't be afraid to go in and talk to them. And if they're not interested, great. I have sent a lot of referrals your way. Who do you know that needs what I have? You have to ask. Ask for referrals. I was scared to do that in the beginning. I really was. But honestly, a lot of times I'd rather have their network than them anyway. So don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of that. And know that, if you're going through your list of 100 and you think copying and pasting the same message into a Facebook message is going to be effective, or copy and pasting the same message into a text message, it's not going to feel like you really care about them. It's not individualized. It's not authentic. I can read a copy and paste a mile away. And I know that you can too. So don't think your people are stupid, because they're not. Take the time. Again, this is going to take time to build up relationships. Even if they're people that you've only, had in your life, but you're just watching them on social media, this is going to take time. Take the time, especially if you know somebody on your list could really use this solution, whatever that looks like. Say, hey, I've been thinking about you. You've been on my heart so big lately. I would love to catch up over coffee if they're local. Or if you've got time, I would love to just hear your voice and catch up on the phone. Like, that's it. How awesome is that? Like, if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, aw, right? Wouldn't that make you feel good if somebody said, I was thinking about you today. And you were on my heart. And I've had, recently people just out of the blue, like, I'm expecting whenever my phone rings, somebody needs something. I'm just being really honest, because a lot of time my phone rings for people that need something. But every once in a while, somebody will leave a message saying, you know what? I don't want you to call me back. I just want to say thank you. I love you. I hope you're doing well. Sometimes the encourager needs encouraging. That was a beautiful letter I got. It was beautiful. Sometimes the encourager needs encouraging too. So, don't think that those gestures go unnoticed. Those are things that when people say that kind of stuff to me, like, that goes way further than any gift I could ever get. So don't take those things lightly. Words are powerful if they're used correctly and authentically. So, reach out to people, take time, and get out of your introvert mentality. This one, like I said, was super hard for me, and if you really want, if you're going to use Facebook and you go to the messenger thing, use either the camera to videotape a message or use your voice. Because that way there's no way you can copy and paste your voice in. There's no way. And it's going to sound so authentic. And there's nothing like hearing somebody's voice. On the birthdays, with Facebook, we get lots of messages and all sorts of stuff. And this last birthday, I had about 5 people that actually took the time to hit the voice record or shoot a little video singing happy birthday to me. And those were the ones that I opened. Those are the ones that I opened. You know, when you got a couple hundred, it's really hard to catch them all. But it was the voice messages or the little videos that I knew that there's going to be a little something extra special in there. I'm not saying that the words on paper don't matter, because they do. But I'm telling you right now, with a community and the way the world is today, we're all buried in our phones, living on text messages. So how are you going to be different? You're going to show up and let them hear your voice. You're going to show up and let them see your face without makeup. You know, let them see you in a baseball hat every day for 12 days in a row. Who cares? All right? So let them hear you. Okay. We talked about Facebook posting. A few tips. I know a lot of you guys share before and after pictures, and I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying don't. And as far as Facebook posting, when it comes to Facebook time, it is crucial you set a timer. It is crucial you set a timer. You know, I give myself 10 minutes a day to love on Isagenix people. That's it. 10 minutes. And I have 36,000 people in my downline, but I give it 10 minutes. 30 minutes is spent loving on product users in our product and health and support pages. I know all of you are part of one. You're part of a great one. Right? Right? Okay. So, you know, your product users, they generate 85% of your volume in your organization. Do you think that that's important to do? No matter how much of a leader you are. It is super, super, super important. You know, I spend about 10 minutes, you know, constructing a Facebook post, maybe 2 for the day, and having those ready to go. Then another 30 minutes doing my private investigative work. But you have to set timers. And when you set that timer, when you set that 30-minute timer to go in and love on the people that are in the product and support pages, like literally, you have to have blinders on to notifications, because every 5 seconds, a little red dot will show up. I'm like, ooh, I want to go see what that is. Squirrel! You know, you got to have like laser sharp focus for 30 minutes. I am dialed into stride. Just boom, love, serve, care, love, serve, care, and not even looking at the little red dot. But what happens is many of you will start, and then you see the red dot and you're like, oh, click. Oh, look at this. These shoes are for sale right now. And the next thing you know, you're online shopping and commenting on Isagenix people, and 40 minutes have passed and you're like, oh my goodness, I only commented on 1 post. But you got really cute shoes, right? Stop it. Be laser sharp focus. Set your timer. I have to do it too, because seriously, I will be off buying shoes I don't need, or more baseball hats. For reals. Like I have 1,000 baseball hats. I don't need any more, but I keep buying them. So keep your focus, 30 minutes, dial in, I promise you. Facebook, as far as the before and after pictures, I know many of you do it and it's totally okay. But my recommendation, if you're going to post somebody's before and after picture, A, get their permission to use it, especially if it was posted in your private support group. Ask their permission. And know the story behind the transformation, because what happens is you're going to post it on your regular Facebook wall and people are going to start asking questions. And if you don't even know jack about the whole transformation, you're going to look like a jerk and you're going to look like you don't know what you're doing. So anytime I have ever put up a before and after, I know the whole story. I know the backstory. I know when they started. I know why they started. I know the ups and the downs that they have experienced. All right. So if you're going to use before and after pictures, which I recommend, I mean, you've made lots of friends in Isagenix, but know the story. Yes, people see the glory, but they want to know the story. They want to know that they can relate. When I talked about hearing Susan Sly's story, I knew.
If you have long-term care insurance, that would be one of the.
Sorry about that. When I heard Susan Sly's story, I knew all her glory. I really, really did. I knew the glory. I saw the stars. I saw the circles. But when I heard her story and the backstory behind her, I knew that she understood. I knew that she could understand what somebody like me was going through. So when you post a before and after, you know, people want to know that, yeah, they've had a great transformation, but do they even have a clue what I've been through? I mean, that's what people are doing when they look at that. Do you even know what I've been through? Yeah, but do you know what I'm going through? I mean, that's what people are doing when they see your happy posts. Yeah, but do you know? And so when we talk about Facebook posting, you have to be willing to be a little vulnerable. even through the hard stuff. You know, I try to be positive. I try to be positive all the time. I really, really do. And, you know, that's going to breed more positivity, and people are watching. People are watching. So, you know, this is a reality show. Like I said, people are binge watching things on Netflix for hours and hours and hours and hours, and they'll go through a whole season in a day. Would you rather them binge watch what you've got going on? I knew I was onto something when I was about 6 months into Isogenics, and this is how I really knew that I was doing it right. And there are all different theories on how to do social media, and I'm not knocking any of them, to be honest with you. I think they're great polishing. They're great things to polish up your stuff. But what I was doing early on was storytelling, and I could go on for hours about storytelling, and we'll touch on that at another time in depth, how to do it. I mean, if you guys have followed me enough, you kind of know how I roll with that. But I knew when I was 6 months into Isogenics, I got this private message from this girl. I had no idea who she was. She didn't even know who I was. She goes, I don't even know how I ended up following you. She goes, but all I know is if I don't see a post from you, I go looking for it because I'm afraid I missed something. Does that tell you something? People are looking for a reality show. We're addicted to reality shows. We love the storylines. We love the plots. And people love to live vicariously through others. That's why people are on social media 4.7 hours a day. So we want to binge watching you. So make sure you have something good to tell. Not just fake stuff. Please don't do that. You got to tell the truth. People can read through it. People can read through it. They want to know how you overcame stuff. You know, I've got 40 years of experiences under my belt, some really great stuff, some really funny stuff, but some really painful stuff too, that I know I'm not the only person in the whole wide world that's gone through some stuff. And when I share those things, I let them know how I overcame them. And more often than not, people have said to me, I could have written that myself. Tell me how you did that. Tell me how you did it. Or they'll keep watching me to figure out, what am I going to say next? What else has she overcome that I can relate to? I mean, I know that sounds really ridiculous, but it's true. And you're kidding yourself if you don't think people are watching you. And it's not the ones that are liking and commenting that are watching. It's the ones that aren't. So give them something to watch. Give them something to be addicted to binge watch. I'm telling you right now, this works. And show yourself having some fun. Like for reals, not staged fun. I see a lot of staged fun. It drives me batshit. Drives me crazy. I can't stand staged fun. Have real fun. Real fun with your family. Real fun with your pets. Real fun with your teammates. You know, not everything has to be a staged picture. Just have some fun. People need fun in their life. And, you know, I've seen lots of, this is my office picture. Totally okay. Totally okay. I've done it too. But not every picture by the pool is you working. I promise. Don't lie. You scrolling through Facebook at the pool is not working. Let's be real. Okay, we want to tell the true story about this is work. Yes, my office has come from mountaintops, but I usually have 2 or 3 people that we're doing some business training all the way up the mountain. That is telling the truth. If you're sitting by the pool by yourself, scrolling Facebook and online shopping, that's not working. It's not your office. You get fired for that at work. Okay, so be truthful. You don't have to glorify this and make this something more glamorous than it is, because you know what? It isn't glamorous. This is hard work. This is a grind. This is hard. And if you're painting it into a picture of something that it's not, you're doing yourself a disservice, because all of a sudden they're going to be sitting by a pool with their laptop thinking, well, I'm working. Why am I not making any money? And that's on you. That's on you. Okay? So tell the truth. It's okay to say this is hard work. And if you're afraid that's going to deter people, then you don't want them on your team anyway. Okay? Can we agree to that? Office pictures are good if we're working for reals. Okay? You know what I like? I mean, if you guys haven't already, you've probably taken a picture of this screen. How fun is it that we're all in our PJs or sweatpants or baseball hats and we're working from the comfort of our home? We're really working tonight. This is working from our computer. And we've got people from all over the country all together, over 200 of you together. People want to be part of a community. They really, really do. When we're at events, you know, people want whatever. I mean, somebody asked my daughter if we were at a rave in Vegas, because it looked like we were having so much fun. We were opening the day with Share the Shot and everything. I mean, people so desperately are craving a community that loves and supports them. Would you agree? Would you agree? And so, you know, being a part of this beautiful community, we have all different walks of life, shapes and sizes, old, young. I mean, we've got a group of 18-year-olds out there somewhere. And, you know, people want to be part of something. This isn't for stage or show. This is real life stuff. 233 people on this right now, pouring into each other and into themselves for a better way of life. That is a good story to tell. You know, just slapping this picture up saying, woohoo, working from the computer. People are like, shut up, liar. That's what they say every time you do it. But if you tell the story behind it, the backstory, not just the glory, they want to know the story. Tell the story of why this call is here. Tell the story of the stupid baseball hat. Who cares? Tell a story. Don't just slap up this same, because honestly, I see this same screen up on the Facebook all the time. Everybody's taking a picture of their Zoom calls. What is going to be different about your post that stands out? What story will you tell about this post? Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm so bored with seeing Zoom screens with no story attached to it. I'm so over it. I'm so over it. Seriously, shut up. Shut up. That's not attractive to me. If I was not in Isagenix, I would not want any part of what you're doing because it's boring. Tell the stories. Whatever this means to you, why you're on this call, you know, why would somebody that is watching you want to be on something like this on a Monday night at 7:40? Why? Story, not just glory, you guys, not just glory. They want story. Can we agree to that? Have I tapped into anything yet? Okay. Okay, this takes time, consistency. You know, don't post waiting for the likes and comments to roll in. Post anyway. I posted long before anybody showed up. I posted when nobody showed up, but I was consistent. Again, we are not doing this for us. We're doing it to serve other people. And just because people aren't liking and commenting doesn't mean they're not being served by you or gaining value from you. It's just a matter of time. I promise you. I've had people not like or comment a post in 3 years, and they are reaching out. They're watching. So don't think just because people aren't liking and commenting that it's a fail. Usually those posts that get crickets are the ones that people are really chewing on for a while. Okay? All right. This is something that's a little weird. If you're a good storyteller and you're living your reality show out on Facebook, when I run into people sometimes, I get a little freaked out because they know my whole life story. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, they know, they came up to Joey in Vegas like, how's your heart doing? Is it good? Is your ticker good? I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that, you know, everybody knows that Joey had this heart scare. And you know, that is a good sign that you're a good storyteller, that they're binge watching you. If you run into people, they're like, hey, how was Hawaii? You're like, oh, a little freaked out, but good, it was awesome. You should come with me next year. You know what I mean? You want them binge watching you. So you know you're telling good stories if people are coming up to you. And you gotta be willing to keep going until, you know, I made the commitment at that first event for 2 years. Every single day I was going to touch this business. Every single day, even if it was 30 minutes. But every day, no matter where I wasn't gonna miss anything of my kids, but I was going to work on this every day, and we had that agreement. And you just gotta keep going until, and I said, I'm gonna give it 2 years and see what happens. We're just gonna see what happens, what consistency can do in my life. And what happened? I freaking crushed it. And I had people freaking crush it because I was consistent, they were consistent. Because I cast a vision, they were casting a vision. How you do anything is how you do everything. And anything you do duplicates, and anything you don't do will duplicate. So be willing to go until. Now, as far as time management goes, I mean, you need to decide, and in your 90-day game plan right after the who do you know is like the full and part-time thing. It's 29 if you got the one from Celebration. I'm not sure what page it is if you printed it out. But this is probably one of the most important things that you could get from this right now, whether you're full-time or part-time. Let's say you have 2 hours. Let's say you have 8. Either way, 80% of that time needs to be spent telling the Isagenix story, doing income-producing activities, not jacking around on Facebook, not commenting on your ISA friends. The things that are in the 80% are sharing the Isagenix story with people, coming up with a social media post that is going to create interest, calling and tackling and text messaging your list of people saying, hey, you were on my heart today. getting that three-way or third-party validation. I know a three-way call, with technology, things have changed a little bit. Three-way call is super effective still. However, more people are likely to jump into a three-way conversation on Facebook or a three-way group text, or a post in one of our support groups that we connect people together. That third-party validation all over the place is an income-producing activity. That is something that should be in your 80% of your time spent. Healthy mind and body, that is part of your 80%. That is an income-producing activity, I promise you. And, getting really good at you plus two, them plus two, casting that vision. Listen, we want everybody to feel as great as they're going to be for free. It isn't going into the long, drawn-out compensation plan. It's showing people how to get these products paid for. Let's feel great for free. Let's feel great for free. Like, that's awesome. That's not doing the business. That's not selling shakes out of your trunk. That is like, cool. Groceries for free, I'm in. 20%. And this is the problem that I see a lot of people have, and we're almost done. So I know a lot of you on the East Coast are tired, but this is the problem, is when we decide we're going to be a 2%er, and all of you have told me you want to be a 2%er, you want to be in the top 2% in this company. And what happens is when we make that switch, that decision, what happens is we flip-flop this, and 80% of our time is spent managing people, doing trainings that we already have systems and tools for, talking about business and all this stuff, when it should be the other way around. But because we all of a sudden have labeled ourselves a leader, we spend 80% doing those other things that really should only be 20%. We flip-flop it. And a lot of the people that come out of their gates and start enrolling and move up fast, I see it happen all the time. Boom, they get to Crystal Executive in 3 months, and all of a sudden their business starts to plateau. And it's because they're not doing those 80% things that they did in the beginning when they didn't know any better. But all of a sudden we decide we're going to be a leader and we think we know better. We got to do things different. And you're doing yourself and your team a disservice, because you're teaching them how to not make money when you do that. Really, really, really important. That's why I don't do a lot of team calls. I think they're great, but I'm all about this 80%. I'm sharing the isogenic story. And the best way to teach that is by doing it every day. By doing three-way chats and calls. I do that every day. I don't do the business trainings every day. Great if you do. I'm just saying, if you're not where you want to be, you may have to rethink some of the actions you're taking. If your team's not doing some things, you're probably showing them something that's not going to be producing them income. I'm just being really honest with you. This 80% part is the unsexy, most uncomfortable, highest rejection rate stuff, and that's why people don't want to do it. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. It's uncomfortable to pick up a phone and fear of being rejected. It's uncomfortable for a family member to say, you know what, Tracy, you should probably get a real job. That sucked. But I did it anyway. I don't care. If you get nothing else off tonight's call, 80% of your time, it's right on page 29. You circle that and you do that over. And that is the best coaching you could ever do for your team, is to be in the trenches with them doing that stuff. Not doing team calls, not, saying, look at me, I'm a great leader. Like, you're not doing them anything good if that's all you're doing. Show them how to do the work by doing it yourself. Okay. So we talked about, is this good? Are you guys good? Yeah? I hope so. Okay, so I told this story about, John Gordon, who wrote The Carpenter. Thank you. I'm glad it's good. Who wrote The Carpenter, which honestly, I was really so grateful. By the time I got that book, I'd been working on myself a while. And, it is how I operate in all aspects of my life. And if you guys read it, and I've had a lot of you say, wow, that is you. That is you. And I take that as a very high compliment. So as you read that book, and you have to ask yourself, are you a carpenter or are you a craftsman? A carpenter can make some money, yeah. But the craftsman is the person that exudes in everything that they do. And so, when I read that book, it was the second book I read by John Gordon, because quite honestly, this was the first one. And this is going to be, if you haven't read this already, please read it. If you've read it once, read it again. It's better the second and third and fourth times. And you're going to get something different out of it. But this book was given to me, ironically, when I was at my worst. I was in corporate America living a very slow, painful death. in corporate America. I had already foreclosed my home. I had shut down my business. I had to go to corporate America. I was commuting 2.5 hours a day. I was missing everything of my kids. I hated my life. I hated my life. And one of my coworkers threw this on my desk, and I was pissed. I was pissed. I was like, screw you. I don't need any self-development. I'm the top earner in this company. Like, that was my attitude. I was that person. And so I took it home with me. I'm surprised I did. God knew what he was doing with me. And for 2 years, this book sat in my closet until it was time to move out of the house that had all these demons in it. And I remember in that same area where I used to have my big ISA closet, you know, where I was hiding my isogenics, this book was covered in dust. And I sat in my closet and I was like, because I knew the woman, you know, I knew she loved me, but I knew she was also afraid and intimidated by me. And so for her to give me this book was probably really hard for her. And I'm telling you this story because it's really important. It's really important. So I sat down in my closet, even though I needed to pack up my house. And I was like, you know what? There was a reason this was brought into my life. There's a reason why she felt I needed to read this. And I trusted her enough, even though I was such a bitch. I really was. I was such a bitch. But I sat down in my closet and I opened it and I read it cover to cover and I sobbed the entire time because I knew what she was trying to tell me 2 years earlier. And I was just unwilling to listen. And it's no wonder my life took a turn for the worse after that, because I was pig-headed, I was stubborn, I was cocky. I was like, I know it all. I don't care about you. This is all about me. I'm going to crush you. That is how I walked through my life. And it's no wonder I was having a destructive path. So I picked up the phone after reading this book and I called her and I thanked her and I cried and I thanked her again and again and again. And the first time I shared this was 2 years ago when I read it. And, you know, I shared it with our team and it was a game changer for a lot of people. And they have a children's version of this too, which is really, really important to incorporate into all aspects of your life. Yes, it'll help you in your isogenics business, but more importantly, this book is about your posture and how you carry yourself in the world. And we are in a business that attracts people into it. And you're going to attract whatever you are. So if you're a bitch like I was, guess what I had in my life? I had a bunch of negative, cocky, jerky people in my close inner circle. And I guarantee you, whoever the closest 5 people are to you is a reflection of who you are. For some of us, that's awesome. For me today, that's a really awesome thing. But for me, 4 years ago, the 5 people that were closest to me were the most toxic, unhealthy, negative, jerky people. And because I was the jerkiest of them all. So this book is really, really important to you to read. It's, again, a very quick, easy, great book to read or listen to. My kids have read this one. It's amazing. And ironically, you know, I've shared this with thousands of people. We've broken Amazon with it once before. I'm pretty sure we're going to break Amazon again with it. So get it on audio too, just to back yourself up. And it's changing people's lives. It's really how you do anything is how you do everything. How you show up in the world is what you're going to get out of this world. So I'm going to tell you right now, even if you don't know what I'm talking about, you will by the time you read this. You're going to be a Joy, not a George. Don't be George. We're going to all be Joys. You can hashtag that too. It's really a good one. Be Joy, not George. So get this book. It will change your perspective, because when you enter the world with nothing but positivity and love and grace, you're going to attract that into your life. It may not be as fast as you want, but that is what you're going to attract. So I wanted to end tonight with that, because this book really did change my life, and I've paid it forward. And ironically, now John Gordon's following me. Believe it or not. His wife started following me about a year ago. She had heard about me, and so she started following me, and I gave her the heads up last week that he may want to make sure his stock is hefty, because I'm about to go viral with his books. And he messaged me and made a comment, and now he's following me too. So spread your love all over the world. You love, you serve, you care in everything you do. And I promise you, this will get a lot easier. It may not go how you expected to go. Quite honestly, any story I've written in my head, it never comes that way out on paper. So be okay with that. It's okay to have the ending of your story written out on your vision boards and in your why, but be okay with it being written a little bit different, with different plot twists and turns than you expect. If you're going to read any of them first, read the Energy Bus first and then the Carpenter. I shared the carpenter because we're talking about leadership, but this is the foundation, and this was his first one, I believe. So it's really good, and it's one that you want to share with everybody that you know, anybody that you love, and anybody that maybe was like me in the office, even if they swear at you and cuss you out like I cussed her out. I'm really grateful that she dropped this on my desk because it's changed my life, and many, many thousands of you have read it as a result. So I love you guys. I want to honor your time. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to call out 3 people though. So I'm hoping they're on. Christy Woodford, are you on? I'm hoping you are. I know she's got a lot going on. She is. I'm going to unmute you, Christy. Christy, you there?
Hi,
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm good.
I love you.
Love you.
So, we talked about vision tonight, and, Christy has had a very strong vision for about a year. She started Isogenics 2 years ago, but the real vision came into play a year ago when she made the decision to really go all in with this. And she's had a lot of stuff happen. She lost her father the other day. He lost his battle, and she's still been all in. So I thought you would be a good person to kind of talk about vision and your why, and why it's so important to stay rooted in that even when you're going through some really hard things. Can you share just really quick, a few minutes with everybody if you're up to it? I know it's hard, everything you're going through, but I thought that would be, because you are living the hard stuff right now. You are.
Well, yeah, Tracy's good at making me cry, so I'll try not to. But, when I started 2 years ago, it was I had just had a baby. It was to lose those couple extra pounds. What I got out of it was, I had no clue what I was going to get out of it. And it just was bigger than I could even imagine. I was just telling my husband today that, I lost my father on Friday. We actually put him in hospice on Thursday and lost him on Friday evening. So, it comes and goes in waves. He battled diabetes for years. And so I was telling my husband today, last night I did my vision board. My vision, I threw them out. I don't know why I did that. I think I was just like, okay, I'm done with that. Like, I'm moving on. I wish I would have kept them, because the progression of my why and my vision for what, last year it was to grow me. This year it's truly to bless others. And I think my dad, I actually talked to Tracy a couple days ago about Angelique Nori saying that, and when she lost her mom, it gave her a gift. And I get it now, what you meant by that. And God is the forefront of my journey. And now just health and nutrition, and like so many people out there that are just really struggling with, like, I'm going to use my dad's disease to really help people. And I just pray that God will just light my path so it's just so clear. So my why has changed multiple times. It was my family, it was my money, it was a house, it was a car, it was whatever, but now it's people. It's people. And I think it took me, I had to mature as just a human to kind of get to that point. And so at this point, I'm sure my why will change again. But, I wrote it down, and I think watching my father's body deteriorate from lack of nutrition, it's definitely going to be a driving force to help others to really just to cast that vision of what it could really be. And so, yeah.
I love you, girl. I wanted to see your face too, so a little selfish there, but I love you, and I'm proud of you for staying the course. And I did talk to Angelique. She'd love to talk to you, by the way. Okay, so we'll set that up. All right, I love you. Nicole, I know you're on. Nicole Hammond-Tree, it's your turn. We want to talk about vision with you because you're going through life stuff too. You are. And, you know, it's really fun when everything's great and everything's awesome. And, you know, life has a funny way of coming and smacking us up in the face. And you're kind of going through that and you're still pushing forward. And I know that you're probably like, oh, shoot, Trace, stop it right now. Just delete me right now. I'm out. But I think it's really important that people understand that life still happens and we keep pushing forward anyway, not because we're numbing out, not because we're insensitive to people, but because we do have a vision and you are strongly rooted in your vision and your why. And I want you to share really quickly what that looks like for you with everything you're going through, if you wouldn't mind. It'll help people.
Thanks. Yeah, this is probably, you know, besides losing my son, the second hardest thing in my life that I've been going through right now. And of course, his birthday and his death day are coming up next week. But, you know, it's not about me. And just like you said, when you really focus on other people and you pour love into other people, something happens and it takes the focus off of what you're feeling and it just helps you heal. I think that people really, I have deep-rooted faith. I don't talk about it very often with people. I'm just not that person. But I really, truly believe everything happens for a reason in life. And you know, and people tell me all the time, you know, and it used to bug me. It used to bug me a lot. You know, you're so strong. How do you do it? You're so strong. And it used to bother me because I had no choice. When crap happens, you can't just curl up and die. I have responsibilities. I have family. So my vision is really, truly to bring families home so they're together. That's my vision, and that's what's pushing me. I want moms, you know, single moms for sure, to be able to be home with their children and not miss those important things. So that drives me. That's so motivating to me. And I don't have one of my children living in my home. So I know what I'm missing every single day with him. And I don't want moms to miss that. So that's why I don't stop. That's why I'm so driven. And I love giving. I never knew what my calling was until I found Vestige on X, until I found this. And what it did for me and what I've been able to do for other people.
Well, you're really good at it. And, you know, I know like a lot of people will, and I know that you and I have had conversations about this, and people have asked me, did I use loving on people as a way to not feel? And no, it is not the case at all. In fact, it has helped me heal. It's helped you heal. And that's why I did ask you to share, because it's not like we're trading one pain for something else or numbing out or using it as an addiction. It isn't that. We're feeling our way through it. We're growing through it, not just going through it. And, you know, our experiences are not just our own. They're used to bless other people. And you're a perfect example of that. So grateful for you in my life. And
I appreciate that. Doing the Rod Harrison training really helped me realize that if you hold all that stuff in and you're not vulnerable and you don't share, then you are robbing other people of the ability to learn from your life experiences, because we can't all experience all life experiences, but we have similar ones. And so I can totally understand how someone is feeling, and they can understand how I feel. If I share, if I'm quiet and I never tell my story, then how am I helping anybody? So I just believe in loving on others.
It looks good on you.
Thank you.
All right, one more. Miss LeClaire, Lolly, it's your turn. You're going through stuff too. And I know that you probably are like, oh no, God, darn it. I know you are. But, you know, you're going through a lot of stuff right now. And, you know, people look at you sometimes and think, oh, everything's great for Lolly. She's so pretty and perky and happy. And yes, you are those things, but you still go through stuff. And right now you are in probably one of the most stressful parts of your life. Yet here you are doing the do, continuing on, doing the hard things. So real quickly, if you wouldn't mind, this will be the last one, you guys, and I'll let you go. But I think this is really important for you guys to hear this stuff. These three women are going through major, major things in their life. Like the top three stressors in their life, all three of them are going through one of them. So Lolly, if you wouldn't mind a little bit, I know you're okay being vulnerable now. I've worked on you for a little while, so.
Oh yeah. You know, it's funny because, you know, I am going through a lot, and I feel like, holy Hannah, you know, I don't understand why things keep happening, and I do, a lot of people come up to me and are like, how are you dealing with all this? I'm like, you know what? I have to move in 2 weeks. I just got in a stupid car accident, and it's it's unbelievable what's happening to me. So, but you know what? It's all about perspective. And I feel like, you know, I'm choosing my path and I'm choosing how I want to be. And I have to recognize all the crap that's going on and just deal with it, but understand that there's so many other things out there that are around me that are making this a little bit easier. And I'm reaching and digging down deep. And yeah, it's hard. I think last year, if I was going through this, I probably wouldn't be on a call. I wouldn't be doing anything. I would be sitting here crying my eyes out and freaking out, but I'm not. I mean, I really am not. And it's crazy. I did cry on a couple things for a few minutes, but I pouted. I do pout every once in a while. But yeah, it's all this. It's all the people around, knowing how many people need me, how many people I want to bless. And it drives me. And it's driving me, I should say, right now. So.
And here's the thing, and I'll end with this, because I think all these three ladies in there, I mean, the fact that they are on this call, they're the first ones on there, the first ones helping people when they need it. They're all three going through some stuff. And I know many of you guys, of the 200 on this call, they're not the only ones going through stuff. And I applaud you all for stepping on this call, being vulnerable, being honest, saying you want this, and then doing the work. But I'm going to give you a little something. You know, when it rains, it pours sometimes. And Lolly is, I mean, the crap that she's going through right now, it's like, are you kidding me? And now a car accident on top of all this? And I believe this with all my heart, is God will use these things, these God shots, as a test to see if you are really rooted in your why, if you're rooted in your vision. And I know all three of these women are so rooted in their vision that, I mean, a train could come and knock them on their ass, and they're still all in this game. They really, really are, because they know this is for something much bigger than them. They are not the things that are happening in their lives. They are not defined by the stuff. They're not defined by the stories. They're not confined by the stories. They're just experiences. They are, you know, events that happen that we are not attaching stories to, and we are going to use them. I guarantee when I'm going through stuff, I'm like, okay, God, I know this is going to be a blessing to somebody. I don't know what yet, but it's going to. And I know, thank you, all three of you, for being vulnerable, because your stuff, your experiences are blessing people. You're giving people permission to push forward, even when it seems like, seriously, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. So thank you for being on the call. I love all three of you very, very much. And I love you. I love all of you guys. All of you guys, thank you for getting on tonight. Oh, don't cry.
I know.
I will see you guys next week. Now it's time to get into action. This is all great. I'm not, you know, rah, 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 yay, we're on a call, but now let's go bless some people, okay? Can we do that this week? All right, I love you all. I will be recording, I recorded this. It'll be up in about 2 hours. And then it'll be up till Wednesday night. People will have till Wednesday night about 9 or 10 o'clock to view it. So if people weren't on the call and you want to share it, they got to get moving. It's all about action this month, or these next 3 months. So I love you. I can't wait to see your faces next week. Thank you for dedicating yourself to this process so you can help so many people. So I love you all. See you soon.